Have you thought about what to do with the ribbon that we find free inside our clothing? Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. And today I'm pondering and musing why they put so much ribbon, free ribbon, inside clothing. One on each side, hanging the trousers up, the pyjama trousers. Then inside there was 2 extras to keep everything on the hanger at the top. So there was that one and then there was that one. You get the idea, but look at the length of them, guys. It's half a yard, isn't it? It's nearly half a metre. I've got 2 white and 2 cream. Okay, good. I'm going to just take a few of these little bits. These are the cream ones. And I'm going to just decorate up some paper clips. So all you need to do is find your scissors. So what I've got here is just a strip of old fabric. I think you saw me tear it off from something a while ago. And these are the pieces that I dyed with avocados. So we've got those as well. So I've got some little bits of, oh, here's the scissors. All right, good. These are the ones I like. They sort of, they're good. They cut paper, they cut fabric, and they're just good all-round scissors. And then I've got some sort of scrappy bits here. So I've got a few scraps, and I've got this as well. I'm just going to cut a little length. And this can be for small ones, big ones. I've got a big paper clip here. I'm just threading through that. So now I've got a little scrap of fabric on my paper clip. So the double loops are down the bottom and we've got the longer loop up the top. That's the bit you're decorating. If you did it the other way you wouldn't be able to use it. So that's the bit that's going to go into the paper. The other thing you get in abundance is the tickets that come off the clothing. You know, 4 tickets. I mean, it's brilliant from my point of view, but it's a lot, isn't it? I remember growing up, we were all trying to save the rainforest and save paper and, you know, paper, save the trees. There was too much paper was being used. And just now, it's too much plastic is being used, so we're all going back to paper. Which is it? What we can't do it. Plastic's wrong, paper's wrong. What's the solution? Come on, they need to come up with something. Mushrooms, apparently. Mushroom compost, mushroom fibres. It's going to be the next thing. We'll all have mushroom paper. Paper made out of mushroom fungus. Composite. I like that. So that is just a little bit of the free ribbon and a tatty old scrap of pillowcase, right? All of it was free because I had the pillowcase. I'm just going to cut that down, and that is, I don't like it because it's too big, so I'm going to try it on here and put it on the smaller one. Put a little bit of Fabri-Tac and seal those 2 shut. So we've now sealed that shut. Now we've got this bit. And I'll just put a little tiny bit of fabric glue there. Any fabric glue that you can get your hands on, doesn't have to be Fabri-Tac. This one's a silicone based glue, which is great. I'll just tidy it up at the top a bit more. And then, if we're feeling a bit fancy, we might like a little bit of bling. So that's what we've got so far. Perfectly fine on its own. Nice little bit of trim. Very simple. Fray it at the top if you want to. And then I've got these Christmas sparkles, which are in the shops now. But actually these were last year's. I saved them. Don't need that many. And I'm just going to put one there. and one on the other side. You didn't have to have the spangles. So that was just taking it up a notch. Okay, so that's great. And then we can do another one. Let's do a bigger one. Let's do one of these. See what this is like. Again, just cotton. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm folding it in half so it becomes like that. So it's an upside down V. And it's this point that I want to have in there. So all the frayed edges are facing downwards. I then pull it up. So if you just tease it until you get the frayed bits coming out the side, that's when you can glue it. Just in the centre there. And then using this idea again, I think I could do a double one there, so I'm going to cut this in half and put that up there, on there, and that up there on the other side of it. Just brushing the cotton with a little tiny smear. You don't want anything too thick, otherwise it soaks through onto the ribbon and then you see it. Just cut that one as well. These are just stick-on gems. I'm just going to put one on them there, I think. It's sort of quite a nice little vintage idea with a little spangle. It's quite sweet. So I'm putting on this another scrap here, just threading it through to the other side and folding it. This one's a little bit bulky because it's going to have the 2 layers of fabric there, so I'll just put another little blob of glue there. That's quite a lot actually. Let me just spread that about a bit, otherwise we'll start seeing it all seep through and then you've got a dark mark. So you're just looking for a very thin layer on the fabric, and then you can wait for it to go a bit tacky before you push it down if you're worried. Pull off any bits at the top to fray that up and add the ribbon. Probably best to cut more than you need so that you can trim it down. Make sure it goes right to the top on this one, I think. And then when you're happy that it's stuck, you cut those off, trim them off, and that's that one. Different look there. So I haven't done a spangle on this one, and that one hasn't got a background, so we just play around now and we'll see what we like. I'll do it for you and then you can decide what you like if it's something you want to do. I would say you want the fabric, probably ideally, is 1/2 inch. What do you think that was for the smaller ones? So I've got one like that. I don't know. This one is 1/4 inch. Well, the fabric's 1/4 inch, but then the fray makes it longer. So it's about 1/4 inch of actual fabric, and the fray is just bonus. 1.5 inches. All right, so on this one, this was a bit narrow. This one I'm going to see about some lace. So take your length of the other fabric that you want and measure it up. That way you don't waste anything. At this point you can try and get them both straight at the same time. Going to put a bead of glue all the way down and sticking the lace down first. You could take a brush or a spreader. I've just used my finger there just so that spreads it out rather than gives me a great big mound of glue that then seeps through my lace. So I've put the lace on there like that. Okay, so fold it over on itself because you're wanting to keep the frayed edge on the outside. So like that, you're then putting that through and aiming it up, and then hopefully trying to get the frayed edge like that, to go through like that, and then push it up. That's it. That one's a bit longer, but because it's thinner I quite like it, so I think that's all right. You could stick them together off-centered and have it like that, but then you might want something else poking there, so you could double lace and have the lace on the inside as well. That's quite a nice idea. Let's do that. I like that. So we're just having a play here really, so that I can give you some ideas on how to embellish your paper clips. If you've got some sort of rather dull office ones, you could jazz them up with scraps. Yeah, so I'm just using up old craft supplies that you know, I perhaps wouldn't buy again because there's so many, and for the original craft I probably used 10, and it's given me so many. So I'm just using up things that I've got. If you haven't got this, then maybe you could look at broken jewellery in your jewellery box. See if you've got anything like a real spangle, or what else might look nice is if we made some disc beads the other day, just punching them out using things like washi tape. I don't know if that's particularly, that one's not very good, but that, you know, they are very beautiful, and that is the right size. So if you've made any of those, we want to go back and have a look at that video of how to do that. Just putting washi tape on a card. That one's got to have punched holes in them, but then you could sew on something like that, and that'd be a little swing. But you've got to remember that it's either going to go at the top of your journal, in which case it'll stick out the top, and is that too big, because you can always cut it down, or if it's going to poke out the side and you want something swinging off of it, you could sew it on that way up. So you'll want it in there on the page, and if you put anything heavy it'll be pulling like that, and then you might lose whatever you've clipped in. So you could have it up there like that, and you could swing something off the top if you sew it on, but it needs to be lightweight. So a little paper button might be fun. But these are what we've come up with today. Maybe this is the sort of thing that can come in here. And, you know, this journal isn't going to be historically correct. I have set it out as if it's going to be from the 1800s, but in reality it's not, as it is my journal, and it's going to have whatever I choose to put in it, with a nod to the past that is some quiet nostalgia of plant collecting and things like that. But yeah, it just might be, that's how that would look if you're doing something with lace. You know, that will be a lovely idea for you. So I hope that was a good one and given you a little bit of idea, because it doesn't have to be anything like that. It could be fabric and you add the ribbon. You know, there's lots of different ways that could happen. It could just be very plain. Keep it very plain with the avocado dye. That's a sari silk, different fabrics, so it's come out darker. And what was the other one in here? Oh, just a tassel of scraps. You know, just scraps, and then I've tied it round there. I think I showed you that one before on our video. Can't remember now. And this is I just use scraps off of the around where the sewing machine is. But those colours work all year round, but they could be quite cool at Christmas. And then that one was just lace and a little bit of random. So yeah, just junk, isn't it? So there we go. So that's posh junk. a bouquet of paper clips, if you will. There you are, and you can add a little bit of pizzazz to your journal with these fun paper clips, looking a little luxurious with the faux crystal there and the ribbon that we have obtained from some trousers. I mean, come on. Great. Easy to do, fun to do, and just lovely to add to the journal. Lovely for gifting as well, if you're passing on a little note or you're wanting to say thank you. Or that goes for Happy Mail, and they get the little paper clip and they'll think, oh, that's so sweet, and then they might use that as a bookmark, or they might use that for something else. Or they might even pass it on to the next person. And you can curl round the paper clip as well. I mean, nothing's going to come off, so it's not necessary, but you could if you want to. I usually do that for a charm, so I wouldn't really do it for those. I think they're quite nice just to stay as they are. Just have that in your journal, you know, glue that label down, and then that's how you would attach it to your page. Maybe I think it wants a bigger one for that size. And then that would maybe that's what would go in the journal like that. And then you have now got the thing. Maybe a cluster or something. And then we've got these. These are another option for us to pull from. Alright guys, so thanks very much for watching, and like and subscribe, leave a comment to let me know how you got on with that and whether you think that's of value. Have a look at your scraps, see if you've got some lace or old ribbon or things that are hanging around in your wardrobe that you didn't even know were there. And then you'll have a selection of free ribbon to craft with, and it'll all be quite fun to sit down and have a little paperclip making session, if that's something that you could do. If not, it's a perfect craft to do with a friend. It's also a lovely little craft to do with any young people that you may have in your family that want to sit with you and make things. You know, these sort of crafts are quite nice for the older ones to sit and do with you. And above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.